And mom and dad loved each other. And all I ever wanted was a husband, home, and kids. I didn't have to have money. I didn't have to have a big career. That was it. So I set out to get that. And mom and dad wouldn't let us move out and get apartments or jobs or be self-sufficient. We good girls back then stayed home and waited for Prince Charming to arrive on the doorstep and ask our father's hand and for marriage. Well, nobody was coming along for me. So I decided to take the bull by the horns. And I was dating a guy, and I said, let's get married. Really, in my mind, it was, let's get an apartment so I don't have to be with mom and dad and all these other kids. And then I could do my own thing and I could be free. Looking back, I never thought about it. I thought I was in love. But what I had done is reduce him to an object. I reduced him to a get out of jail free card. He was my escape to the world that I wanted to be part of. I didn't know how to discern. I didn't know what was going on. And I was starting to believe, as the culture was saying, that it was okay for divorce. Not that you wanted to ever be divorced. Nobody wants to be divorced. But if it was really bad and you fell out of love, it was okay. God would understand. So that was my belief system. So after about 9 months of really a difficult and miserable time, I didn't know this guy was an alcoholic. And in short order, he started actually beating me. He threw me up against the wall one time, and I was like shocked. I'd never been treated that way. I was confused. There were no women's groups or women's shelters or, and back then, you didn't go to therapy or counseling unless you'd been in the nut house. That's what we called it. So nowadays we all go get our therapists and our spiritual director and all that. But back then you just kind of tried to figure it out yourself. Well, that didn't work very well for me. So I called my dad. Dad, come get me. So now, long story short, it ended in a civil divorce. That was the year that no-fault divorce became real, went into effect. So I didn't have to prove cruelty or alcoholism or anything. I just said irreconcilable differences. And now I'm free. Well, there was the question of annulment, and I didn't know what that was. But my mother, who was a very devout and practicing Catholic, says, you need an annulment. And I said, well, what's that? Well, that's when the Catholic Church takes a look at your marriage and determines that there was something seriously wrong from the very beginning. And it declares that the marriage bond was null and you're free to marry again. Well, all I heard was free to marry again. Mm-hmm. So I go, okay. So my mom filled out my annulment paperwork. I still feel a little shame and regret, but I also have to laugh. I was just ridiculously immature and unprepared for marriage. And I was starting to make a big mess out of my life. I didn't go to therapy. I didn't get a spiritual director. I just went out and did the same thing again. And I know you know my story, and it's been decades ago, but I still feel regret that I went and married and divorced 2 more times after that because I was desperate for a husband, home, and kids. And now I'm competing with my sisters who are getting married and they're having babies. And that's like, I gotta do this. In the meantime, because I had to, and I wasn't going to go back home, I got myself in a very good career and I was making 6 figures and enjoying it. I loved work. I love work. But I still wanted the husband, home, and kids. So I started to direct my life and I picked another guy. So I have this pattern I was unaware of. We'll make a nice life together. I'll make the money. We'll have the kids. Everything will be great. So I picked guys who were really nice, but emotionally they were about 12 years old.
Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network invite you to discover your mission, a brand new in-depth monthly video series featuring engaging Catholic speakers who will challenge you to live your life abundantly. For only $25 a month, you will receive a personal monthly mission, including 3 full-length inspirational talks that build upon a new theme each month. Sign up for the Discover Your Mission tier at patreon.com/patchworkheartministry today.